And now, Rate That Album, Season 3, with Paul Muad'Dib and Joe Fremming. Two guys who know stuff.
Hi, welcome back to Rate That Album, back and forth album review between myself, Joseph Fremming, and my good friend, Paul Muad'Dib. Paul, how are you doing?
Joe, it feels so right with you by my side.
Yes, it does, Paul. Yes, it does.
It does. It really does, buddy. No, we're good. We're good. I don't have a whole hell of a lot. You know how it's Thanksgiving. You know, we took a little bit of a break there, and I'm glad to get at it because I have a lot to say about this week's album that you picked.
Yeah. I mean, are you saying you have so much to say that you knelt before your swelling king, Paul?
I always kneel before my swelling king, Daddy.
I'm right, you do. Yeah, this week we picked. I picked an album based because Paul picked a side project from Mike Patton from Faith No More, and I was like, reminded me that hey, the other guys in Faith No More have side projects too, and it gave me an excuse to revisit because I heard it when it first came out. Man on Man. It's a queer rock band composed of Roddy Bottum. He was in Faith No More and Imperial Teen, and Joey Holman from a band called Holman. Not familiar with it.
Me neither.
So during the pandemic, 2020, during the lockdown, these two decided to record an album, which, it's pretty wild. I don't blame them. We all went a little stir crazy.
We sure did.
It's wild to think because I was trying to figure, it's 2 years. We're 2 years out of that, Paul. And it's like I was remembering that we started podcasting right before the pandemic hit.
Yes, we did.
We started the Twin Peaks podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the world so I just kind of want to go back to that because the Twin Peaks podcast, originally we were going to do it, every other week?
Every other week we were originally going to do it.
Maybe once a month?
Yep.
That was kind of our tentative plan. And then we found ourselves with a lot of free time because, hey, nothing's open.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, it's crazy how that worked. Absolutely. Because we started doing it originally when The Return came out. We were like, hey, let's talk about, well, it wasn't when it came out, but like we started talking about it and we're both like, what's something we want to do? And we're like, dude, let's do Twin Peaks. It's coming up on the, they got all these things. So yeah, it was, and that was right before the pandemic. Yeah, because I think we've been doing this now for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, we started in February of 2020 because we started recording on the day February 16th.
Yes, February 16th.
Laura Palmer's murder.
Death. Yep.
Yeah, so like we're 2 years out. So while some people like us decided just to go nuts on the podcast, these two recorded an album, which is like a nice little indie rock album. I really enjoy this Man on Man album. It scratches an itch sound wise for me. It's kind of shoegazy indie rock with a really warped at times, almost dream pop stuff coming out of it.
Yeah.
So Paul, let's hear your initial thoughts on this.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. When I first heard this, it scratched a total itch because I love shoegaze. I've been in the shoegaze. There was a girl that I dated online years ago, and she got me in the shoegaze and dream pop, and I absolutely just fell in love with that genre. So there's definitely some shoegaze here. There's also that post grunge indie flair from like the late 90s, early 2000s on this, with an avant-garde experimentalism that's done right. There's some experimental music that's not done well. This is very well crafted in its wheelhouse. They're experimenting, but they're not going outside of what they know. Like what I mean by that is they created what feels like to me a barrier, like kind of like, okay, these are our boundaries, but everything within this boundary is our sandbox. And that's how it felt like to me when I was listening to this album.
Yeah, it's I would say tight in that regard, but it's experimental, but they keep it tight.
Exactly. Yes. Tight experimental. That's great.
Yeah. They're not really going for the bloat. They're not going for like over the top, like which you would almost expect from maybe somebody like Mike Patton would do.
Exactly.
Like, just go like way over the top. Where these two kind of reel it in, and they're kind of like, yeah. So sound wise, it's like that, and then the lyrics deal with all sorts of.
And we'll get into that because the lyrics are really good on this through most of the album. The other thing I like about it is there is almost like this fill as the album kind of goes, and I'll point this out as we go through it, but there gets to a point where there's almost like a Phil Spector wall of sound to it that if done by the wrong people would suck. And I got to give Roddy and Joey credit because it's really good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to attain that without having to, shoot a woman in their home.
And that's difficult to do when you're trying to make a wall of sound.
When you're living the Phil Spector life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
You just got to shoot guns. I mean, it's just science, people.
Ask Phil.
Ask Phil.
Is
he still alive?
I don't know if Phil's still alive. I don't know which timeline I'm in right now. I don't know what timeline I'm in right now because I was convinced that Cedric the Entertainer was dead already, and apparently in my timeline, and then I came to this one, and he's not. Yes, he did die January of 2021. So, yep, no more Phil.
Yeah. Good riddance to bad trash, Paul.
Good riddance to bad trash. No, we could just.
Yeah, we're not very. Yeah. All right. So, so you want to jump into this?
I do, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and start it, Joe.
All right, let's start with Stoner, which is if this is because it's a very similar, it's basically a same rhythm throughout, heavily distorted vocals. Very much in the vein, I would say, of like Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Yeah. To me, there's definitely though a Rentals Pixie Doves feel to this whole album. And so I definitely get some Rentals vibes. Very minimal in this song, but I thought it was a great opening song, very catchy. The hook is great on the chorus.
Yeah, it's a very catchy album. It's wild and very distorted, which scratches a lot of it. I love distorted vocals. I always have. And it's just, it opens up, it kind of it's the taste of what's to come. And based on and it's very much indie rock of the early 2000s, late 90s. Which he was an Imperial teen, so that makes sense.
See, and that's interesting. And I forgot that because I'm thinking, wow, this is coming from the guy from Faith No More. But then now that you just hit that to me, because that was something else I was going to bring up, like this is such a departure. But knowing that makes more sense. The other thing I want to say is it's pretty ballsy. And I love it, though, that you're going 6 minutes in on the first song. But that's true shoegaze, and I love it.
Yeah, it's it's wild. It's wild. And I just love this. I just love the idea that these two were like stuck at home,
and they made
we're gonna make an album,
and they make a really good one. And again, this is also reminiscent to me of Slow Drive, Mojave 3, the Beach House, which is with the Dream Pop. But yeah, it's very, very Catherine's Wheel. Definitely got that shoegaze feel.
Yeah, and it's catchy, and I think it's like, it's very shoegaze feel, but I think it comes without, like, I think some of the
pretentiousness.
Pretentiousness of shoegaze, which I love shoegaze, but I can also admit, it kind of crawled up its own ass too. Just about every genre of music does.
Every genre of music does, especially when you get to certain artists. But when you look at like the true trailblazers of shoegaze, it wasn't like that. But what now we know of the shoegaze genre, there's a lot of artists that crawled up their own ass. So I'll give you that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so then we get a taste of, the relationship.
With Daddy. Yep.
But it has one of my favorite. I used it before, but like it starts with "I took a ride to your house. I pulled your shorts down and knelt before my swelling king. I took in everything." I just love that. I love that. Just it's a very good way to describe a blowjob.
It is. And then you get the jealousy. He took a ride to my house. He pulled down my shorts. He knelt before his swelling king. He took it. I gave him everything. And where is it? What was it? He took a ride to your house. Yeah. I got okay. The lyrics I had. Now, what's interesting here, I take that back. The Genius lyrics are different than the lyrics I had when I was listening to it on YouTube. So that's on me. I thought it was this juxtaposition of it looked like to me of an affair, but I guess not. I will say, very Rentals. This is very, 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 very Rentals.
Yeah.
But it's got a great mini anthem chorus, which
Daddy,
I'm all for.
keep it? Promise
Yeah, Daddy.
Keep it.
Yeah. If we get sick of it, then we'll take it to the zoo. Like, wow. I mean, I know a little bit about gay culture. I know what you're talking about there. That's pretty good.
I don't know. But I don't know.
We'll talk off air.
I'll let you explain it to me.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you off air. But if you know, you know.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of figure it out.
I think you can kind of figure it out if you know certain terms. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, this is incredibly catchy, and I love the sing-songy chorus.
Yes.
Like they're not afraid to do weird shit, and but like you said, it's reined in.
Mm-hmm.
Not going too much, but they're still good. The sing-songy "Daddy, can you?" Yeah, I love it. I love it, and the instrumentation I love because it sounds minimalist, but there's a lot going on.
It's intelligent. It's smart.
Yeah, very smart. Now it's so fun to be gay, Paul. Which I really like this song. I really did. There's not a lot to it, and I know it one of your cardinal sins, but I think it worked here.
It's one of my cardinal sins. I will say, compared to the other two songs, okay, again, this has a really Rentals feel to it. I started to hear what sounded like a mock Moog, and you know my feelings on that. But it has a very post-grunge, late 90s or 2000 feel on this one. It's a pleasant song. I don't mind it. Yes, it breaks one of my cardinal rules, but it works for what it's trying to convey. However, while pleasant to me, I really enjoyed the hook of the first two songs, and there wasn't really a hook here bringing me in. So, but
the lyrics are repeating, and it goes on for 4 minutes. It's a little excessive, but it's one of those few times it didn't bother me. Like that stuff we've discussed on here can really annoy both of us at times. You especially. I think I'm the more forgiving one of that, but yeah, I still liked it. I said it's simple. It gets to the point. It's a lot of things I've noticed too. Like these are a lot of like almost like McCartney-ish.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on some of that, especially when the song we'll get to about the Kardashian being so last season?
Yeah,
it's still like White Album era McCartney.
Yeah, very much so. I did. I got very much a very simple McCartney style to it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, birds do it, bees do it, we do it too. Again, it's a fun gay anthem. Definitely I think this would be a great song to play like at a pride thing, and it's a wonderful. But again, compared to the first two songs, I really enjoyed the hooks so I was disappointed when it didn't come, but I still found the song very pleasant.
Yeah. Next we have Beach House. What'd you think of Beach House, Paul?
Again, Rentals. And the Moog is that Moog synth style sound is really there. However, there's that classic 2000s indie acoustic guitar and the vocal reverb on it. And as much as the Moog, I like the fact, like one of the things I love the Rentals, but one of the things that really gets to me is just how Moog forward that synth is. It's reined back here, and that hook for the chorus is really good, really, really good. Again, we're back to the hooks. I like that song a lot. Beach
Yeah,
House.
I do too. And I love the acoustic. I like when on this album they use the acoustic guitar and the piano.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because I feel like we're in an era where like everything's done. Like I love electronic music too, don't get me wrong, but I feel like maybe there's just not a lot of instrumentation in popular music.
You and I very much appreciate eclectic, right?
Yeah.
Like when something is, I get overloaded. Like that's why I have a problem with pop, because, and I usually go back like after pop has kind of happened and that type of thing. Like I'm usually a couple years late on it because I'm so overloaded with everything sounding the same. And then a couple years later, I can pick out the really good stuff because there's not as much noise around it like there is. I don't know if that makes sense how I'm trying to explain it. So when I hear something like this, it's like it's filling a hole that I've been missing.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's
and the lyrics are great on this one.
Yeah. Let's go over some of the lyrics on Beach House because it is like Yeah, go take another walk, clear your head, it's not your fault. I'm saying things I shouldn't say. This isn't what we meant when we said we wanted to spend some more time on the West Coast. So basically, they
sounds like they
friction in a relationship.
It's again, you're in a pandemic.
Yeah,
you're gonna have that, right? Like you're stuck. I know what that we all who had lived with other people.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
The pandemic did not affect me because I was already living like that anyway. I'm a pretty much of a homebody. So like watching like you and everybody else kind of like go stir crazy a bit.
Yeah. And
it was like really odd to me, but I was just like, but I admit though, even for me, it got to be too much.
Dude,
it just got to be a bit much.
Having 4 kids out of school, out of daycare, I love the fact that I got to spend time with them. Like it was great doing that. But by the end of the year, I was so ready to go back to work. And the lyrics here, but we like to keep this beach house clean, stressed out and stuck in. Now we need some distance, but our love will see forever days. Very apparent that this was written about the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was wild, man. That was wild. Did you pick up any other hobbies during the pandemic?
Yeah, teaching.
No,
actually, what I did during the pandemic, well, because my kids were pulled out.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
So I was doing an online school, and we rolled them into an online academy, and I forget what they call it. They have a specific term for it. Oh, their learning coach. I was their learning coach. They call it in that academy.
Coach.
Yeah, and I did get during the pandemic. I did get my pharmaceutical sales rep certification done. I became a minister, and I bought land in Scotland and became a lord. So on my credit cards, it says Lord Reverend. I did crazy shit during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. We all did, Paul. I appeared on Korean baseball.
Good for you. That's right. You did.
Yeah. And a cardboard cutout of me put up in the dinos in South Korea.
How the fuck? Tell that story, dude. I want to hear that story.
Okay, so me and my buddy, like during the original, everything locked down, and I'm friends with a lot of sports reporters. We both all work nights and are in the same industry. And like they were just kind of going crazy because there was no professional sports going on. Like everything was just done, except for in Korea, where they kind of clamped down on, social distancing and all that pretty quickly. So they're watching the dinos play at like 3 a.m. because they had nothing else to do. And then we're doing a Zoom one night, and they're like, "Hey, the dinos you can win a free hat or a jersey if you submit a photo, and they'll put you up as a cardboard cutout." And they're joking around, and I'm like, so I looked it up right away, and I submitted I submitted it all like while they were talking. I'm like, yeah, I put my application in. They're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you actually did it? I'm like, why not? And then like one day, my buddy Brad, he was watching the dinos and he spotted my cutter cardboard cutout because it was very obvious because it's back when I had this huge red beard.
Yes.
I knew that photo was going to be like, if you want to get picked, you got to have something that stands out. So I picked out the most ridiculous photo I had. And he saw it. And then a month or two later, I got the hat in the mail.
That's phenomenal, dude. That's absolutely a terrific fucking story. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, no, the pandemic, we all did crazy shit, dude.
Yeah. And other than that, I learned how to cook.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I did a lot of cooking during the pandemic too.
Yeah, like it was just, you had nothing else really to do. That was like, I mean, it's weird because we're talking about it past tense. It was only 2 years ago, but it feels like longer than that at this point because everything felt so slow during that pandemic.
I think that's what really affected people was life went down to a crawl because especially I think in American culture for our international fans that we have, because we do have quite a few, it's very fast paced. They just keep you moving. You can't really think. And so when you get that time down, it is kind of rough. And you don't really think of it. I mean, it's nice to have, but yeah, you don't really think of it. So when you have that there, it's like, oh, yeah, our Brazilian friends, our Spanish friends, hi, listening in Iran, Canada, hi, yeah, yep.
Yeah, it was wild. But yes, I taught myself how to cook, it's come in handy. I've saved a lot of money, Paul, because I was eating out every day.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'll just bring this up now. I got diagnosed yesterday, the day before yesterday, with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease from eating all junk and shit for the last couple of years. So now I have to completely change my diet and start working out and shit. So like for me, I started cooking a lot, but also like once that was done and like life started to start back up, I went right back to my old ways. And now it's like, fuck, I'm paying for that. So yeah, I got to get back into it. Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Well,
don't worry, you'll have me around for a long time.
All right. I was going to say, thanks for bringing us down, Paul.
No, it's nothing. It's nothing terribly life-threatening.
I hope you're okay, Paul.
No, I'm fine.
Just drop that on me in the middle of a podcast.
No, it sounds worse than it is. It really only takes 4 years off your life. So if you can like turn it around with diet and exercise, which is all it takes to get it back under control, I'll be fine. And that's what I've been doing. Like I've already got like regimens and diets and like workout routines set up. So don't worry, dude. Yeah, we're good. We're golden. I'm even quitting smoking. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next we have 1983. I really like this song because it has like the bass line is fast and like feels like it's a minor key. I'm not good with that, but it's just like really,
there definitely is a minor going. There's definitely
some minor going on. And so I really like the vibe of this song.
Yes.
And it's pretty rare when you get to use Promenade in a song too. So
and sucking you off.
I mean, I wish more songs had that in there too.
We've been doing a lot of
I text you a line, what is a good time?
Yeah. Sucking makes me feel really good. It's just that when we're fucking, I feel more understood. Yeah, I felt this one had a late career Iggy Pop vocal effect on it. Very candy Iggy Pop vocal effect, but with a very Catherine Wheels style to it. This is the one though in my notes I have written that Moog synth is getting really old. But I like the song a lot. I felt the vocal change going from these things, and I'll tie that in when we move down to the next song. But yeah, I like that one. I did like this song.
Yeah, in the lighting you brought up, it's just that when we're fucking, I feel more understood. Like I've felt like that in relationships before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just like You just never hear somebody just saying that on a record, though. You never heard John Lennon sing that.
No, but the thing is,
Or
I
Peter
think that's
Gabriel. He's all talking about the carpet crawlers, but where is he talking about what the fucking?
yeah. The carpet crawlers heed their collars, and and his sledgehammer. Yeah, when you have something that's just out there, I think really is resonating in that line because I think we've all been in that position where it's something universally we felt, just no one's ever come out and said it in words like that, and I think that's refreshing. And it's honestly less is more when it comes to brilliance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now we come to Baby, You're My Everything.
Yes, this is the one. I felt like when I listened to this song, again, it's shoegaze, rentals, Iggy Pop, but I felt like all the songs prior to this were leading up to this one track in terms of the vocal, the arrangements, all the instruments that are going on. It just felt like a really smart spot on the album. This is absolutely, I felt, the perfect place to put this song, and it's such an enjoyable song.
And the lyrics are strong on this.
Strong lyrics.
And again, it's simplistic. It's simple. It's not simplistic. It feels. That's one of the best songwriter things, like that makes something sound simple when it's really not. It's what Bob Dylan used to say about Johnny Cash. Is he could make a complicated song simple.
Yeah,
and I think like they kind of do that here.
Absolutely, yes, and the lyrics are brilliant. So look at what the Lord dragged in. Blessed prose and perfect skin, brother, lover, next of kin, baby, you're my everything. Majestic, soft, and deafening, whispers soft and deafening, this majestic reckoning. Praise and glory to my king, baby, you're my everything. Really, really, again, simple, but strong.
And, middle finger, take my ring.
Yeah.
Baby, you're my everything.
Everything. It's so good. It's really, and again, it's perfect placement on this album because, as we'll talk about, the second half of the album goes different places. So this really does feel like a smart A side to an album, and then
absolutely,
yeah, it's really like truthfully, I know we don't talk about there being the perfect album, but if there was only these 6 tracks, it would be probably a perfect EP.
Yeah, pretty damn close.
Pretty damn close to a perfect EP. Yeah.
So next we have 2 at a Time.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on 2 at a Time?
This is when it all changes. This is B-side. It's very different. I call it Pixies in the Shoegaze, and it's serviceable. I didn't think it was great. Didn't really care for the hooks. Lyrically, it's fine, but it definitely has a very Frank Black lyrics feel, Breeders, Kim Deal style arrangement to it, but with that shoegaze sheen.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree. The lyrics I felt I liked because it did feel very pandemic-y.
Yes.
You're trapped in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and you're with the person you love, but it's also like, you're trapped here.
You're trapped with 2 people. You're trapped. Yep.
Yeah. So I get that. And it's done this is like one of the ones I felt like very McCartney-ish. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, but again, and I feel like that they also took that from. And I felt like, again, that's where I got the Pixies kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pa 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 pa. That has that. I also felt like the way that they're singing it, and I really feel like that's how Frank Black really was influenced by McCartney's pop sensibility, but putting it in that post-punk format, which was just lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. So I think we're a little different on the side B. I kind of like side B a little bit more.
We'll get there.
That's where we both agree. It's a good album.
It's a good album. No.
We just like different things about it.
Yeah, and again, I don't hate the song. I just really enjoy the hooks from the first
'Cause
part
the
of it.
hooks were so strong.
The hooks were strong, and then you get to a point where there's not hooks, and I'm expecting these brilliant hooks to continue.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I call it serviceable. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yeah.
It's just it's very the choruses and lyrics and a lot of the vibe feels very minimalist, and we'll get to that with Lover, which is, I think this is a beautiful little song.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hook, so it's kind of a weird. The whole album's kind of weird anyway.
The whole album
takes a weird turn with side B, which is like the music. I think gets a little more experimental, where
100%.
which gives the vocals and the lyrics almost a not like backseat, but it's not. They're not going for what they did on side A.
Yes. And getting to Lover, I have it written in all caps. I love this song. I love this song. It's got Ween-like vocals, which I'm absolutely here for. It's got great instrumentation. It's a wonderful arrangement. It's a 4-minute song with like 2 fucking verses.
Yeah, and it's beautiful too.
And it's beautiful.
It's like
it's a beautiful song.
These dudes love each other. It's fucking beautiful. Like,
It is. You could tell the love in this album. I mean, you would make a perfect husband, a companion in private and in public. You're the song I'm thinking of. In the morning through the night, you're mine. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's kind of also brings up people's self-perception. So that begins with, I don't mind the weight of any part of your body on mine. I don't care what you say to yourself. I think you're doing all right. You're fine. Which it's kind of consoling and letting the other person, like, I don't care if you're a fat guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I love you. Like,
and I will say, I love this album. I came out a couple years ago as queer. And, I'm not gay. I like I said, I identify as queer. I have my own things. But one of the things that I have, and I've talked to people about this over the years, is I find for me, personality is a lot to the attraction. And I can absolutely relate to this song because there's times where there'd be people who maybe they're not conventionally gorgeous, maybe they're not conventionally attractive, but if I really enjoy their personality, it's like a switch to me. And then actually there's been people who are conventionally very attractive, but their personality, like I can find flaws on them that immediately turns me off because of their personality. And I feel like this is a song that really translates to that style of sexuality.
Yeah. If I don't relate to somebody on an intellectual level, I just can't. I won't even contemplate dating.
Mm-hmm.
Been
there, done that, and I won't do it again.
It's just it's nothing like really against them. Like if I just people are different and all that, but I just can't on any level like have a conversation about shit that interests me. Like maybe that's just selfish of me. Maybe that's very selfish of me, but still. That's just who I am. But like, if it's like just vapid talk, I get very bored and very annoyed. Annoyed is like that. So that's like kind of like what will always sour that. If I'm with like on a date or something, and like somebody's talking and they're like, I have zero fucking interest in what they're saying, and they're just talking about like bullshit. Like I have to find a way to get the fuck out of there.
I have been very fortunate in my life. I have dated some 10s and I've dated some 1s. And I'll tell you, there's been times where I've been on dates with some 10s and I've broken up with them. And I've had many of my friends go, what the fuck? She's way out of your league. Why did you fucking break up with her? You're an idiot. And it's like, yeah, she's gorgeous, but my God, she doesn't know what the word recruit means. like I can't, you can only go so much with that. Like it's not going to work. I've had other people go, man, why are you dating that girl? She's way below. And I'm like, fuck you, man. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I really adore the message of this song.
Yeah. I can't I won't even, I'll do the one date, and if there's no click, I've never continued it.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's just how I am. I'm so pig-headed with like that shit, but it makes me sound like an asshole. But
it's again, not though. You're not though. You gotta have that.
I feel like I'm wasting people's time.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I'm just like trying to phone something in or try to make something out of nothing, it just doesn't work for me.
Well, and I think I go from the adage of, physical beauty doesn't stay. Eventually, everyone's going to be 60, 70, and they're not going to be what they look like now. So you better damn well appreciate and be able to have conversations and have that intellectual, emotional connection. Because if there isn't, I mean, we've seen a big rise on people divorcing in their 50s and 60s. And why the fuck do you think that is?
Yeah.
Because of that exact thing.
Yeah, people they have a very shallow.
I'm not going to call him out, but I know he doesn't listen to this podcast. But I know a guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was dating a girl, and very, very, I really liked her. She was friends of all of us, and he started like being, whatever. And I was like, dude, what, like what's going on with that? Like, she's super cool. He's like, oh man, she's put on like 30 pounds. Like, I can't anymore. And I was like, what? Wow. All right. Cool on you, dude. People
gain weight, dude, man.
Yeah.
It's life. Uh-huh. You're not going to be. Fuck. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't get it either.
It just amazes me that people. I'm just looking for somebody who I can fucking talk to and shit. Have a conversation about weird. How hard is it to find somebody who enjoys the weirdness of David Lynch? I mean, fuck.
Right.
I'm just doomed. Right. I'm doomed to be single.
It's hard. No, dude, it's hard. And, I'll bring it up too, because Bobcat Goldthwait had a brilliant bit on this a couple years back where he's like, he got done at a show and he was telling this bit. And he goes, and this girl came back and she's like, I want to fuck you all night. And he's like, at this point in my life, that doesn't sound like a fun night. Like, maybe once or twice, and then maybe you could give me some soup and we can cuddle on the couch and maybe talk about a few things, but that doesn't sound like me. Because you're all going to get to that point. Yes, find someone that's in the David Lynch. Find someone that loves Kyle MacLachlan as an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need people who understand the genius of showgirls, Paul. Fuck.
Absolutely. Vanderhoven, my man.
He made RoboCop, people. Why?
He made RoboCop. Why do you hate this movie? He's a genius.
It's Jessie from Saved by the Bell. What do you want?
She's so excited.
That caffeine pill addiction really took Jessie to dark places.
The caffeine pill addiction. Zach Morris is trash. All right, let's move on.
So we get to Please Be Friends. This is what I would probably call, made me think of McCartney the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts with a little piano playing some Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
So last season, so it really White Album era McCartney.
It does. I will say my notes on this one, piano song again, very different feel. Actually, we were listening to it, and my wife brought up. She's like, "That sounds like one of your joke songs that you did for Gretchen. Where May She Be?" That I made a very short, that me and my buddy Scott made a very short snippet on my very, very best of fake album that we did many years ago. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, it does. I like it, but to me, this is me personally, I felt this is the weakest song on the album. Really felt like a filler song. And it found out of place to me. Musically, lyrically, it's great, but I just felt instrumentally it didn't fit. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But I really like the lyrics on here. It's just
very strong lyrically.
Yeah, very, very.
I mean, I look back at all the people out in front of me. It feels like everybody's making fun of me. It comes down to who my friends and who's my enemy. Please be friends. Please be friends. Please be friends. Please be friends. There's still time for all of us to get ahead of this. And it's still I don't want to be a pessimist. So let's strive for all of us, make the best of this. Please Be Friends. And I totally get your McCartney vibe on it because it does feel like McCartney-esque lyrics. 100%.
Yeah. All right, now we get to Kamikaze, Paul.
Kamikaze. This is when this is the Doves. This feels totally like the Doves. It's piano driven, but now we're getting back to those hooks that were just I love. Mm-hmm. And I really felt like this should be the ending song of the album. That was my vibe. Like, I feel like the placement of it, but I love the storytelling of this one. Driving down 40 West, Kamikaze crop duster better keep his distance. He don't want to catch from us what we've been running from. I've been thinking, is the virus worse than the disease? Everything will end this anxiety. It's so good.
Yeah, and very, I think, comes out of a lot of the paranoia with COVID. So I think we all, I think we're trying to all put that shit behind us. But it was a very fucking weird time, man. Like, it was paranoia, and it was just strange. Everything was just fucking weird. Like,
it was weird.
I don't want to turn people off with politics and shit, but we had a president who was like ingesting bleach to kill the virus, and like that's something like I would have thought of at like 3 a.m. drunk off my ass.
Right.
But I wouldn't have told anybody that thought. I would have woke up and been like, that's probably a pretty dumb idea.
It was a very weird time. It was a very weird time. And yeah, again, politically, take it for what it is. I mean, I'll call any president on their fucking stupidity. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
But that was just like a weird thing for somebody to say. Like, even like, again, like, seems like something I'd drunkenly come up with, and then I'd just be like, I better not tell anybody that. That might be a little ridiculous. And then like this guy's just saying it on TV.
Yeah, and I apologize.
It was a fucking weird time.
It was weird times, and he came out and said a lot of weird things, and I think he was going through it too.
Yeah,
I think everyone was going through it.
Everybody said weird shit.
Everybody said weird shit. Go back to that time and look at YouTube channels.
We all had fucking weird ideas because we had no idea what this thing was. But like, we just didn't tell millions of people. We just kept it to ourselves. But that's because you and I are Midwesterners.
Yes.
We politely keep our crazy ideas to ourselves or for this podcast.
Right.
Oh, I think you and I exercised our crazy theories with the Twin Peaks podcast. That was a good avenue for us to like let out all the crazy.
That was a great avenue for us to let out all the crazy because we're going down these David Litch rabbit holes, right?
Yeah.
And that was good for us because I think harmless rabbit holes.
It kept us steady, Paul.
It did. And again, I still go back and listen to those old podcasts sometimes. We had some really good ideas. I really think we kind of locked in what Twin Peaks was about better than that 4-hour fuck.
Yeah. We also had some wild ideas, too.
We did have some wild ideas.
Like, to be fair, we also had some pretty out there shit in our heads.
Yeah, no, we did. Season 2 was rough for everyone.
That almost made the pandemic worse for me, to be honest.
Season 2 is rough, dude. Season 2 is really, really rough.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now, Paul, we're getting to the last of the album.
So, yep.
It floated. I mean, it's fine for last album. I agree with you. I think the track before would have been better, Kamikaze. Mm-hmm. But it works.
Well, and again, my son pointed out that the song definitely is very, very, very similar, and I'm sure this is a stream of consciousness thing, from a song that plays in Metal Gear Solid 5 during the Kaz speech. I did not recognize it. Like, I was playing it, my son's like, oh yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm like, you're being weird. What are you talking about? He's like, it's a meme song, Dad. I'm like, no, this is from
your son he's being weird.
No, but I'm just saying.
My God, Paul.
No, I didn't actually say it out loud, but you think these things as a parent. You got to understand.
Yeah, like
you think
like the bleach. You have the idea, but you just don't say it.
Right.
That guy said it.
Yeah, no, I didn't say it, but I'm just like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, that's a meme song. I'm like, no, it's for the album I'm doing. He's like, hold on, Google. And then he's like, puts in the song, and I'm like, whoa, dude, really good ear. He's like, yeah, no, Dad, it's from memes. He's like, that's totally the meme song. I'm like, it's actually not the same song. It's a little different. And he goes, huh. He goes, guess they stole it. He goes and walks off.
Yeah, I see. I don't play enough video games. I wouldn't have known, but you shared it with me right before we started recording, and I was like, yeah, your son's right. That's a good ear.
Yeah, no, it's really good ear. Like, I was impressed. I was like, wow. Yeah, dude, because especially since like it's a clip like over this speech in the video game. So the music's kind of there but not present. So the fact that he was able to pick that out, I was pretty damn impressed. Now again, I'm going to do this as a stream of consciousness, unconsciousness. I don't think they stole that when I could make a song out of that. I really don't. Metal Gear Solid 5 was not that good, did not sell well. Not a lot of people played it here in the US. So, that's the thing. But again,
this is man. People are locked in that year. They might
valid point. Valid point.
Well, we might as well play this piece of shit game.
There was games I went back to that I was like, well, I guess I never beat that. I guess I'll fucking beat it now. Valid point. That's a valid point, Joe. Yeah, but filler song. This is a take it or leave it. I really was. It's not a good ending to an album, in my opinion, in terms of placement. But again, it's not bad it's just compared to the greatness that is the rest of the album.
Yeah.
It's, but again, you put this on a Porridge Radio album, it's solid fucking gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really keep punching down on Porridge Radio.
It's not punching down. They put themselves out there. It's not punching down. They put themselves out there.
Yeah. Fucking idiots, that album. Anyway. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of Man on Man. Paul, I really like this album. Yes. I like the vibe of it, man.
I am with you on this. When you told me it was Roddy Bottum from Faith No More, and I didn't register the other stuff he'd done, I was like, okay, this is going to be, whatever. And then you get this, and I was pleasantly surprised. I am a shoegaze whore. Dream pop whore. You give me those things, I'm super fucking happy. And again, going back to that post-grunge, late 90s, early 2000s indie rock vibe on top of that, you're giving me the Rentals, you're giving me Iggy Pop, you're giving me the Doves. I cannot hate this album. I love it.
All right, so I guess we both would recommend.
I would recommend this album.
Self-titled album.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Do we know? I've been looking for it. Do we know how it did or what the reviews were for it?
I don't know any of that, Paul.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, nobody knows of this album. I've been looking for things on it.
Yeah, I was too. It dropped, and then, it like the only reason I knew about it is our friend Dan. It came out, and like he's always finding shit like this. And throwing what he knows I would probably like my way, and like he threw this my way, and I was just like, fuck. And I listened to like the first couple tracks, and then I forgot about it so yeah, that's how I knew about it.
I did see a review, and I can't remember where it was from, but they gave it a 4 out of 5. Like there's no wiki for this. No. So there's no wiki for there's another one that gave it 4 out of 5. The Kerrang.com gave it 4 out of 5. Let me look at Metacritic here. Metacritic has it as an 87 based on 4 critical reviews. So DIY Magazine gave it a 90. Music OHM gave it a 90. The Wire gave it 80. And Kerrang gave it 80. Rolling Stone did something on it, but they didn't really rate it. They just talked about it, but they didn't do like a full-on review, those pig fuckers. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this here. Okay, albumoftheyear.com. Two users gave it 90 out of 100. Then you got 8 on the 80 out of 90. 80 out of 89. People have 10 on the 70 to 79, 10 on the 60 to 69. I put this in an easy 90.
Yeah, I would too. It's
this is
solid.
easy in the 80 in a 90 to 100 category, 100%.
It's musically interesting. The lyrics are really solid. The vocals are like, again, that's kind of like, it has that indie rock, indie pop stuff that I just fucking love, which, I feel like people listen to this like, oh yeah, the record store guy likes that shit. But you know what? Fuck you, I do.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you.
Yeah, I really like it. I really fucking like it.
So I would recommend
I really like it.
It's good. I wish it got more recognition, but that's
Me too.
The nature of the beast,
Mm-hmm. It's a really solid album. I wish more music like this got recognition. I'm kind of surprised. I think
if it came out maybe 15 years ago, it probably would have done better back when brick and mortar record stores were more of a thing. And
yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good.
But, yeah. All right. So that was Man on Man, Paul.
That was Man on Man. So Joe, let's do plugs. What's going on at the Joe Down?
We still got to get around to our review of Cool as Ice.
God. Oh God. Yeah.
Dragging our feet on that one, but can't really blame us, Paul. It's a Vanilla Ice movie.
It is a Vanilla Ice movie.
I'm in no rush to watch a Vanilla Ice movie.
Watch the riff tracks version of it too when you get a chance. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. All right, Joe. Well, before we get to my pick for next week, do you have anything else you want to discuss, bring up, talk about?
Not really. I mean, I'm enjoying the continuous downfall of Twitter.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing, isn't it? It's still around, but I don't know for how much longer.
I mean, it's weird when the owner is toxic to his own brand. Like that doesn't happen very often, but Elon Musk, man, like if he would have just not tried to been a fun internet troll, because he doesn't really have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
If he would have just been quiet and just like, yeah, I bought Twitter, I think people would probably not been as annoyed. But he had to fucking look at me and try to be funny, and it's like Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes.
Right. Well, I will say, Joe, interestingly enough, Thanksgiving, people must have really wanted to listen to us. We had just on SoundCloud alone had 105 listens on fucking Thanksgiving. So yeah, we've been doing well. The show is we're still getting that about 100, 150 a week. We're just gradually going up. It's pretty phenomenal.
Hey, did we ever hear from the person who suggested the Tears for Fears?
We did not. I will reach back out to them and see what they thought of our critique.
Okay, yeah, I like to hear what people thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely.
She probably just stopped listening to us after that. Like, fuck you guys.
It's very possible. Possible. We are horrible people. I got this here. I can't see where it is, but Joe, we're getting listened to a lot more than I thought we were, because it's 270 on SoundCloud for the month so far, 256 listens on the RSS feeds. So we're getting in the 600 a month listens right now.
Jesus.
So good for us, man. Thank you, everyone that's listening. You're fucking awesome.
We're two guys who know stuff, Paul.
We're two guys who know stuff. Well, Joe, do you know what we're doing next week?
Yeah, what are we doing next week, Paul?
I feel like we've had a really strong string of really good albums. And you talked about how we haven't been really represented by we had a lot of straight white man music, right?
That's almost all of our reviews have been.
Yeah, straight white man music, right?
Trying to do other things.
Yep.
But your crippling addiction to white people music, Paul, keeps bringing us back.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna do something different here. All right. So we are going to do some esoteric Buddhist spiritual, rock, reggae, Native American country music. We're doing Steven Seagal songs from the Crystal Cave.
He made an album.
He made 2. Yes, we are diving into my well of straight face. We were diving into my well of actors that go in and make shitty albums. And boy, oh boy.
Both of his album covers is like him, like in the most like early 90s, like warm tones with a guitar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a man who says he was playing black jazz music when he was 4 years old at clubs.
His string of like shit he tells people is amazing.
Dude, we're gonna dig into that next week. We are.
What was the guy who literally made him shit his pants?
Shit, I can't remember his name, but I've heard. We're gonna get into those stories because
he knocks him out. He knocks Steven Seagal out, and Steven Seagal allegedly shit his pants.
Steven Seagal. Well, and supposedly, God, I watched an interview with who was it? Shit. There was a guy who I watch all these things, and I've been really preparing for this one as well because we had time. There was an actor that was in a it was Gene LaBelle. It was Gene LaBelle.
Yeah,
It was Gene LaBelle who made him shit his pants. And allegedly. And there was an interview with God, I forget his name. And we got to be really, I mean, I don't give a fuck, but we are going to get torched. We are going to get torched. Because there's a lot of people who are like hardcore Steven Seagal apologists. It's crazy.
Have they seen his like he's like, you know, training people and he's just like all fat and he's barely moving?
Yes. Yes.
Like he's like one step away from having a donut hanging out of his mouth. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there is a bunch of like fake martial
14
arts
songs, and they're all written or co-written by Steven Seagal.
But do you see who's on it? Stevie fucking Wonder's on the album, dude.
Yeah, he plays harmonica, Paul.
Yep. There's a lot of shit that we're gonna get into with this. We are gonna be really digging into it. But yeah, Kevin Hart says he saw it, but God, I can't remember who's the other actor. It was a younger actor that was on set for something else that they were working on, but happened to be on the sound stage, and saw this happen. And I'll find that interview. We'll go into it. Oh my God, dude, there's just some crazy shit that Steven Seagal says he's done. There's like, there was someone that won like a mixed martial arts, like an MMA fight, and Steven Seagal took credit for it. Like everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's famous for just like kind of making shit up. And then like for some reason nobody ever called him out on it.
Yeah, it's Hulk Hogan level insanity.
Yeah,
it's Hulk Hogan level lies. But yes, the style of music can be described as outsider country meets new world music meets Aikido.
That's not a thing, Paul.
Just letting you know what the genre, according to Steven Seagal, is.
Doesn't he live in Russia now?
Yeah,
he's a big Putin fan. I know that.
He is a huge Putin fan. Yeah, he is like an ambassador to Russia. He is kind of like how
well, he has citizenship there, I think.
I think he has dual citizenship. And he also is a cop in Georgia.
Yeah, he had a reality show for a while about that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Russia.
I heard that on a podcast recently. Tom Segura was talking about it or something. I was just like, what the fuck? I felt like this can't be real.
Yeah, it's real. He is God. What is his title? He is the
No citizenship in 3 countries, Paul. Here, Serbia, and Russia.
Well, we're gonna get into it, man, because there's a bunch of shit. He is God. I forget what it is. I want to know what the fucking title of it is, but he has an actual official title of like an ambassador, Russian interference, or some. God damn it, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking a lot about Steven Seagal outside of the album.
He's just a hot mess, man. Jesus.
It's a hot mess, dude. It's gonna be so much fun. We are gonna have a blast next week, dude. I'm so excited for this.
I'm already exhausted thinking about it. Like, Jesus, like, he has all these accusations from women about sexual harassment.
Let's not forget he is considered the absolute best host of Saturday Night Live ever.
Yeah, I guess everybody who worked with him said he was the worst fucking host they ever worked with, and that's including Chevy Chase.
Yeah, so I'll tell it now.
You're worse than Chevy. I mean, to people, like, Chevy's like apparently good to everybody else, but I guess like behind the scenes, like, geez, it's just a fucking nightmare. And I guess Steven Seagal was the same way.
So I'll tell the story now, and I'll give a brief version of it next week when we do it, because just as a recap. But I watched an interview with Al Franken, who was there that week, and so Steven Seagal had a huge problem with, like, he took himself so seriously, and any joke that was made about making fun of himself, he would like nix. He'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So Lorne Michael is there, and Al Franken is in the room with a couple of the other writers. And Steven Seagal says, hey, I got a sketch idea. Okay, what is it? So Victoria Jackson's going to come in and I'm going to be a hypnotherapist, and I'm a hypnotizer to have sex with me. And at the end of the sketch, I tell her that she needs to come back every week. And Al Franken goes, Lauren's sitting there going, and Lauren, being the producer, has to, be in good graces with every fucking host. So he goes, I fall on the sword and go, so you want to make the darkest sketch ever put on television? And Steven Seagal was like, you hate all my ideas. And so
he's just raping a woman every week. That's the joke, huh?
Pretty much raping a woman every week. That's the joke. Well, then they were going to do a Hans and Franz bit. And there, the whole thing with Hans and Franz is how they love Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they're going to talk about, they're going to make jokes about how Arnold could kick his ass. And Steven Seagal, like, gets up and leaves, and he kind of, gets up and he's staring off. I'm like, what are you thinking, Steven? He literally says, I wish Arnold was here so I could kick his ass right now. And they're like, are you fucking serious, dude? Yeah, it's never been redone, replayed. They've absolutely never replayed that episode of SNL. And later they did a bit with Nick Cage when he done Moonstruck and Honeymoon and whatever. And like his monologue bit was, it was really great because I got to see Cher's ass. And it was really great because I got to see Jennifer Jason's tits. And like, then like Lorne Michael calls him over and is like, hey, your niece, whatever, Sophia Coppola, if someone was on stage on Saturday Night Live talking about their tits, how would you talk about our tits? Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. You must think I'm the worst host ever. And Lorne Michaels goes, no, that was Steven Seagal. Like, as part of the monologue bit. And that pissed off Steven Seagal. So when he was on a talk show, he called out the SNL member that was on this talk show. Like, why did Lawrence say that about me? And was trying to start a fight with him on stage on the Leno Tonight Show about this joke on this monologue that Nick Cage did. The dude's insane. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about next week, sir.
Jesus Christ, Paul.
It's going to be genius. In addition to his music.
I should never have known he put out an album, Paul. This is my hell.
Knowing is half the battle, sir. Again, this is my thing when it comes to music. Like this is my thing. Artists, actors who have gone to make music. And I know there's shit out there, Joe, that you have never heard and you were going to get to it, but I figured we've had a really good, strong run, and I think our audience would like us to suffer a little bit. So we're going to suffer for our art, and we are doing Songs from the Crystal Cave.
Jesus.
Steven Seagal's 2005 album. So this is long after, like Navy SEALs, and like this is when he really sucked up into his own ass.
Yeah, he wasn't even. If he was making movies, they're right to DVD at this point.
That's when he had his failed production studio. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is when we were getting such movies as Out of Reach, Into the Sun, Submerged, Today You Die, Mercenary for Justice. Yeah, this is long after even Half Past Dead, which was a pile of shit. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You're going to love it. You're going to love this album. Yeah. Yep. So, that's what we're doing next week, Joe.
I'm very angry right now. Very pissed off.
Again, dude, we gotta suffer for the art, man. We've been taking it easy on ourselves.
We need to suffer this much, though.
Dude, it's
this feels like Pat Boone territory.
Dude, it's honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I think Pat Boone is worse. Like, Pat Boone is worse.
I don't think so, Paul.
I think so.
There's a little charm to the Pat Boone album.
Pat Boone is worse. I'm not gonna lie to you. Pat Boone is worse.
No, yep.
Pat
Boone had charm to it, Paul.
Dude, just think about how much fun we're gonna have ripping on all the fucking lies and all the crazy shit about Steven Seagal next week.
Oh my God.
So bring your Steven Seagal crazy stories, because we're gonna have time, because the album.
It's just weird, because I just watched like a YouTube video like a few weeks ago about like his tall tales and like, holy shit,
Joe. I gotta tell you, about 2 weeks ago, I started doing the same fucking thing. Like, I don't know if the algorithm on YouTube was making it or what. And that's when I remembered. I was like, fucking Steven Seagal, his music album. And he made 2, by the way. We are doing, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Joe. All right. There's 2. This is the better. This is the first one, and it's the better of the 2. So just be glad I'm not having you listen to Mojo Priest, because the Mojo Priest album is really bad.
Dude, that's like saying shit is better than diarrhea, Paul. It's the same thing.
No.
You're
dude,
just splitting hairs at this.
No, dude. No. Because Songs from the Crystal Cave, I'm going to tell you, it's shit. But Mojo Priest is the flu shits. Like, so it's the time like where your asshole feels like it's throwing up. That's how bad that album is. So,
I think you see a doctor. I don't think I ever had my butt do that before, Paul.
I got IBS. Leave me alone.
Shit gets real on this podcast.
I don't hide it. Fuck, you're around me. You're going to be hearing me ripping ass all goddamn day, depending on what I ate. Sexy. All right, Joe. With that, do you want to take us out?
No.
This has been Rate That Album with Paul Muad'Dib and Joe Fremming. Thank you for listening.